Mark chapter 5, verse 1. They came to the other side of the sea, to the region of the Gerasenes. As soon as he got out of the boat, a man with an unclean spirit came out of the tombs and met him. He lived in the tombs, and no one was able to restrain him anymore, not even with a chain, because he often had been bound with shackles and chains, but had torn the chains apart and smashed the shackles. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day, among the tombs and on the mountains, he was always crying out and cutting himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and knelt down before him, and he cried out with a loud voice, "What do you have to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you before God, don't torment me." For he had told him, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." "What is your name?" he asked him. "My name is Legion," he answered him, "because we are many." And he begged him earnestly not to send them out of the region. A large herd of pigs was there, feeding on the hillside. The demons begged him, "Send us to the pigs so that we may enter them." So he gave them permission, and the unclean spirits came out and entered the pigs. The herd of about 2,000 rushed down the steep bank into the sea and drowned there. The men who tended them ran off and reported it in the town and the countryside, and people went to see what had happened. They came to Jesus and saw the man who had been demon-possessed sitting there, dressed in his right mind, and they were afraid. Those who had seen it described to them what had happened to the demon-possessed man and told about the pigs. Then they began to beg him to leave their region. As he was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged him earnestly that he might remain with him. Jesus did not let him, but told him, "Go home to your own people and report to them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you." So he went out and began to proclaim in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and they were all amazed. So after teaching in Galilee from a boat, and Jesus calming the storm in the middle of the night, they cross over into Gentile territory. As soon as they step foot into this unclean region, they see just how unclean it is. A man who is filled with a legion of demons lived in the tombs, which is considered unclean for the Jews, and therefore would not normally associate with such a man. And this man was being tormented by demons that were so strong that they were able to break any chains or any number of people trying to prevent him from harming himself. And ironically, the demons that are so busy tormenting this guy begs Jesus to not torment them. Knowing what Jesus was about to do, the demons asked Jesus to cast them out into pigs, another unclean animal that Jews would not go near. The demons then continue to show that it's their nature to bring harm to what they occupy, as the entire herd of 2,000 pigs rush off a cliff and into the sea. Then the people, they show their pagan lifestyle and how they respond to Jesus. The word demonizomai is used here to describe the demon-possessed man. And the Gentiles used the word daemonian to describe their deities. But we see here that their deities were actually Satan's demons. And so the Jews, they at least had some concept of a holy, righteous God. But the Gentiles had a much darker reality of God, as their gods were actually demons. But they perceived those evil spirits to be deities. So instead of drawing interest and curiosity like Jesus did in Jewish territories, he drew only fear in this Gentile territory, because pagan worship was often a response to fear. They would try to appease the gods so that they would not bring destruction upon them. So instead of asking Jesus to pay for the loss of all those pigs or to explain who he is, they were afraid of the destruction that might come, and they begged him to leave. A couple interesting things here. Jesus told the disciples in the previous chapter to take him across the Sea of Galilee to an unclean territory, with many unclean things that proper Jews would not associate with. But Jesus wasn't intimidated when confronted by unclean people, unclean spirits, and animals. He ministers to the Gentiles. And instead of telling people to not share the miracle that he had done, like he does in the previous chapters, he now commands this man to go home and to share what God has done. And in return, the man, he goes and he not just spreads the news to his own home, but he spreads the news to 10 cities, and the people are all amazed. So a couple prayer points here. Number one, where are you afraid of spreading the gospel? What causes you to be afraid? And how can you confront those fears and take up the confidence of Christ? Number two, why should we be excited to share what God has done in our lives? And what are the testimonies in my life that I can share with others? Where would I find opportunities in my life to testify?